guys, welcome back to my channel where I help you become your best self through better health. And today we are talking about healthy sugar substitutes. This video is a part of my sugar series, so if you haven't watched the artificial sweeteners to avoid at all costs, make sure you go do that after watching this video. For those who celebrate, Thanksgiving is next week, and even if you're watching this video when it's not Thanksgiving, I wanted to provide you a list of healthier alternatives when it comes to using sugar. Because remember, the average person consumes around 142 pounds of refined sugar a year, which is insane, and we need to get those sugar intake numbers down and use healthier options, okay? Now, these natural sweeteners that I'm going over today are less processed than refined sugar, white refined sugar, and they create fewer fluctuations on your blood sugar levels. Now, with that being said, these still should be used in moderation. I personally don't use or eat a lot of sugar because I've curbed my sugar cravings. If you need help with that, make sure you go watch Why Do We Crave Food video. But if I do have sugar on hand, these are the options that I use and have in my pantry. But before we get into the 6 that I recommend, let's talk about kind of where you can use these natural sweeteners, because you can use them really anywhere. These natural sweeteners can be used to replace processed sugar in recipes, except for 2, which I'm going to talk about later. But you can use these natural sweeteners in breads and desserts and sauces. You can use it to sweeten your beverages, sweeten your oatmeal, or when you're making homemade goods like homemade granola. I made some homemade granola this past weekend and it was delish, and I actually used one of the sweeteners listed here today. And any other time or food that you need to, want to have a hint of sweetness, these are great alternatives to use, okay? So let's get into the 6 healthy sugar substitutes that I recommend so you can start using these instead of the dangerous chemically laden sweeteners, all right? So number 1 is raw honey. So raw honey is one of the oldest natural sweeteners, and honey is actually sweeter than sugar, but it has less glycemic load than a single banana. Raw honey is packed with enzymes, minerals, and vitamins that are beneficial to the body, and it's also recommended that you consume your local honey because that can help build your immunity to common allergens within your area and within your climate, because it introduces your body to your climate's bee pollen, okay? One caveat to this is not to cook or bake with honey because when it's heated, the properties get altered, which is not good for our body, okay? So raw honey is number 1. It's great. I love it. Use it all the time. Number 2 is grade A maple syrup. So maple syrup is made from boiling down maple tree sap, and it's a great source of manganese and zinc. Maple syrup has a much lower fructose content than agave, and maple syrup also adds a great pleasant flavor, to foods, and it's really good for baking. Now, thing to remember with grade A maple syrup is to be sure that you're buying 100% pure maple syrup and not maple flavored corn syrup. So we want to make sure we're staying away from anything corn syrup, okay? No bueno. Number 3 is organic coconut sugar. So organic coconut sugar, or coconut sugar, also known as coconut palm sugar, is made from the sweet nectar of flower buds of the coconut palm. Coconut sugar is a good source of potassium, iron, and vitamins, and although it has the same amount of calories and carbohydrates as regular sugar, it has a lower glycemic index, providing a more stable release of glucose in the blood. So if you're watching your blood sugar levels, coconut palm sugar is really a good option for you, okay? Which we all should be watching our blood sugar levels. Number 4 is date sugar. So number 4 is date sugar. Date sugar consists of finely grounded dates. So if you know what dates look like, it's literally just grounded dates. But utilizing this fruit's vitamins and minerals and fiber content, it can be grounded into sugar. So it really can be a direct replacement of sugar when it comes to the granulated form. It also has a lower glycemic index than your traditional sugars, which also makes it a better option for those watching their blood sugar levels. So date sugar is really awesome. That's actually one of the ones that you can't really bake with due to its how it's formed and when it's granulated. So date sugar and honey are the only 2 that you really can't cook or shouldn't cook or bake with, okay? But other than that, you can use them in any other forms that you need to use, have sweeteners, okay? Number 5 is monk fruit. So monk fruit is a small green gourd that resembles a melon, and the sugar is made from extracting its juices. Monk fruit is actually 200 to 400 times sweeter than cane sugar, but contains no calories and has no effect on the blood sugar, again, which is great for those of you who are watching your blood sugar, your glucose levels. If you're diabetic, monk fruit is a great, option for that. And finally, number 6 is black molasses. So organic black molasses is one of the most nutritious sweeteners from this list, and it's derived from raw cane sugar, and is made by a process of clarifying and blending the extracted juices. It has a high antioxidant count, and it's also a good source of iron, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. So those are my top 6 that I really recommend. This list isn't exhaustive. There's a whole lot more, but it's a great start for you if you're just starting to make the switch from artificial sweeteners to more natural, less processed sugars, okay? I also like to keep things simple. There's no need to bombard you with, a whole list of sugars, natural sugars or sweeteners that you can substitute, which I'm going to add more to the list as part of the sugar series. I just like to keep things simple. You're already bombarded with a whole bunch of stuff and a bunch of food choices, which leads to, paralysis, and you can't decide or what to decide, which is why we're kind of in the situation that we're in now in our society. There's so many options and so many choices. I just like to keep things simple, and this is really simple, okay? Now, these sweeteners and natural sweeteners can be found in your supermarkets, obviously your health food stores, and even your local farmers market. So I would recommend you go to your farmers market and get that local bee honey when you can, and support your community and your farmers market and get that raw honey. Now, here's a couple of reminders. Remember to purchase and use organic and non-GMO sweeteners when possible. And remember to be a food detective and check those food labels to make sure what type of sweetener is being used and what you're consuming. I literally just turned down a beverage the other day because it had sucralose in it, which is one of the artificial sweeteners we should avoid at all costs, okay? Now, these natural sweeteners are the obvious preferred choice over white sugar, but again, they still should be used in moderation. Again, I don't use or eat a lot of sugar. Even I have these in my pantry and they barely get used, okay? Ultimately, the best way to limit your refined sugar intake is to eat mostly whole, real, unprocessed foods and use these healthier versions and substitutes that we just gone over today when choosing, to add a little sweetness to your life. Now, again, if you suffer from diabetes and you need to watch your sugar intake and watch your blood sugar levels and your glucose, then the coconut palm sugar and the monk fruit are great choices for you, okay? And at the end of the day, just remember to listen to your body when trying something new and always monitor your numbers if you are tracking those. So whenever you're introducing something new to your body, because one of these, from the list, your body may not, even though it's natural, your body may not respond to it well. So remember to listen to your body. That's part of the intuitive nutrition, which I have a video about that too. So go check out all the videos, guys. I'm coming a lot, more with content, and I really do hope this, sugar list helps. There will be more added to the list, part of the sugar series, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.